Hey friends! We haven't had an upload for a little while because I've been away for a few weeks, and I am our poster of things, online content based, videos, blog posts, Facebook. So now that I'm back, we'll resume all of our postings. And so today's October 31st, Halloween, and I think winter is fixing on starting early here in western Montana. When I got back, the mountaintops are dusted with snow now. Right now it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's 40 degrees out. And that's pretty warm for us right now. I woke up this morning and it was 26 out. And so it's been staying consistently cold. And for a few days now it hasn't really gotten much over 40 degrees during the day, so I think we might have a, sort of a maybe above or below average temperature for our winter this year. And actually I did read that actually just this morning in the news that it's slated to have more snow and colder temperatures for us here in western Montana this winter. So we've picked a good year to winter over is what I'm saying. This will be our first year wintering over for the whole winter here since we moved into the woods here at Empty Mountain a little over 3 years ago. So, and we feel set up and sort of ready for the challenge of living off grid without running water for the whole of the winter. We have been here and had some winter weather. We got back this year in February, so we still had a lot of snow and cold weather then for quite a while. And typically we leave around November. So anyway, so we have been here with some of the winter weather, but not for the whole winter. So this year will be new, so we'll keep you updated about that. But because the temperatures are just lower than usual around this time of year here, I was expecting us to get maybe another month out of being able to store our water outside. But just today I started making some adjustments to that plan because some of our water is starting to freeze. And so I've brought in all of our potable water jugs, because they were just starting to get icy. When I moved them, I can tell that there's ice in them, and ultimately I don't want those to freeze, of course. So I brought all of our potable water jugs in. This is probably where they will live now for the rest of the winter, probably through March into April. This is water here too. Usually this is rainwater that we collect for use in our pump sink, which I often love to highlight. I've highlighted on this channel a lot of times. So you fill this water up here. It's a foot pump. It's brilliant. It's awesome. So we have done experiments with using snow and melting snow for use for washing up, for use primarily in the pump sink and washing dishes. But as you may know, melting snow is really not an efficient use of water or getting water, because it just you fill up a whole 5-gallon bucket. It takes a while for it to melt, and then you get maybe a third of the bucket at most in water. So it's pretty time consuming, and meanwhile it's cooling off the cabin while it's melting. So I don't know if we'll really do much snow melting this year. I think I'll just do more water hauling, because I go to Missoula once a week and it's pretty easy for me to just fill up jugs. So I think I'll probably just wind up doing that, but we'll see how it goes. So yeah, I like to keep an extra 5-gallon bucket in here for the pump sink. We use this for washing dishes, washing hands, and then all the potable water we use for, drinking and cooking. So let's go outside here. So this is where we were storing our potable water, which I've now brought in. That one's empty. But we've gotten a lot of good rain recently, and so this 55-gallon jug, this 55-gallon drum jug, and the 55-gallon drum over there on the shower house, these are all full right now. So, I mean, it's going to take a while for these to freeze, right? So we have some time. So let's just see here. So it's a pretty thin there is a layer of ice on it, but it's really thin. And that was really easy for me to bust through with this like little stick. So, you know, obviously we have some time with those, but not a whole lot. And it's always like that, that balance of like, how long can we keep using this water for before it freezes? Because we don't want these to freeze, of course, and we empty these out every year so that they don't just become a solid chunk of ice and then crack the drums. So we will need to empty these at some point, and just kind of keep an eye on them. So there's that. This one on the back, so this one's just collecting water off the eave. We don't have a gutter hooked up, and I did pull this back so I could see how, oh, that was a little thicker. Maybe because it's more exposed than the drums. But still pretty easy to bust it up, right? So, I mean, we'll be able to keep using this water. This is water that we use pretty much solely just for washing out the loo buckets for our compost toilet system. And then we use these to fill up our inside pump sink for washing up purposes. So these are outdoor waters. These don't have very much water in them, but I'll dump these out pretty soon so that they don't freeze, and we'll put these away for the winter. And then what we do for the shower house, usually for the winter, so this is a propane heat, instant hot water, on-demand system. And what we'll do for the winter is we'll have to store the water inside the cabin, and then we'll just use a 5-gallon bucket to run the hose into and pump it up into the shower here. And then what we do too is we have to empty the system out, drain it, and bring the pump inside with us when it starts freezing so the pump doesn't freeze. And also the battery. So the battery that runs the pump, we have to dismantle that every time and bring it inside when it starts freezing. So now is the time of year when this will be a little bit more work to take a shower, because we'll have to hook it up every time, drain it every time, bring all the parts inside. But, you know, we're not huge shower people. So typically we shower once a week, so it's really not that big of a deal. So this weekend, I'm hoping that I can get Mike to film a video, to do a video. Sometimes it takes me some doing, people. So if sometimes you're wondering, like, where's Mike? Sometimes it's just like I can't really get him to do the video. And he's his own person, and that's fine. And I don't like to push him too hard on it, so I'll just take a video on my own. So I won't highlight this too much, but this is our sauna in progress. And I'm hoping to do a more in-depth video this weekend with him leading the charge there, because he's the builder and I only know so much about what's going on over there. So, but we're hoping to get it operational for this winter, for use in the winter. So just today also, I decided to pull the sink out of here, empty the water that runs up here. I pulled out the pump because this is just getting frozen out here. So I think this is done now for the season, hand washing wise out here. So that will come back in the spring. And while I'm over here, I'll just share too that before I left at the end of September, we did start a new compost bin for loo buckets. So this one is now full and capped off and will sit and hang out for like a year. And after a year, we'll be able to kind of spread that, use that soil or the human or the compost in there rather, for whatever we'd like. But we have started this new bin. We're kind of just trying out, you know, right now we just have it pretty short so that we can add to it as time goes on. And this will be definitely one of our sort of, you know, big experiments this winter to see how the loo bucket system works as far as stuff freezing and being able to load the pile and you know. So we'll just kind of see how that goes. Mike built this a few weeks ago, and this was such a good idea to get this before the snow flies. So now all of our stuff is undercover, which is nice for the compost, our sawdust and straw and the buckets and everything. Prior to this, we were just kind of using makeshift tarps and scraps of metal and stuff, which was working, you know, but like as time goes on, we're just continually upgrading our systems, and there's just the two of us here, so things just take time, and turns out there's only so much time in a day. So we're just we're doing what we can as we're able, and you know, we both also work a little bit also, so we're you know, balancing our time between work for pay and work for love, not for money, out here at Empty Mountain. So yeah, so that's what's happening right now. We'll keep an eye on these water barrels, and you know, start probably empty these. I don't know, maybe we'll get a couple more weeks out of it. I guess we'll just see how she goes here. Right now our panels, we're drawing a little bit of light, but we have now entered for sure the time of year where we use our generator. Our generator is an important member of Team Empty Mountain, and the generator is what will charge our batteries that we run on for electricity inside the cabin, because here in western Montana we just don't get enough sun through, you know, at least half of the year, over half of the year, to just run straight on solar. And right now we are pulling a little bit, but very, very little. So on average, based on our electricity needs, we're running the generator maybe an hour and a half a day. So that's not bad. And it's an easy generator, you know, it works great. So so that's what we'll be rocking, you know, probably through until April, needing to do that, probably most days. The refrigerator is our biggest draw, and we have like done some experiments with using the outside as our refrigerator, and we do have luck with that at certain times of the year, but then of course we run into the risk of stuff just like freezing. So we also don't want all of our stuff freezing. So, and there's all sorts of ways that we can, you know, work to remedy that. But we're just kind of slow and steady as she goes out here. Like, everything is a whole learning process. Like, actually just a little bit ago I was like looking up water heaters, because they make like these wraps for these drums, the 55-gallon drums, so that they don't freeze over the winter. And there's different ways to do that. You can use propane, you can use electricity, which we don't want to do. There's batteries, you know, there's all sorts of different things that exist in the world for us folks who live off grid. But there's just like a whole world to investigate over every little thing. Like, there's just so much research and so many different products and so many different systems and methods, and just like, we can only do so much. We can only research one thing at a time sometimes. And so I think probably we'll just empty those and you know, haul water for now and figure out different water systems for the winter later. So again, one thing at a time. So with our canyon and just like how low the sun is already in the sky, it's October 31st, like, it's amazing how dynamic it is. Like, the sun is just stays really low. So these panels, you know, don't have a big opportunity to draw. And then around 5 o'clock, you know, the sun is behind the trees for us here. So like, you know, we're definitely limited in our light swath here in the sky. But yeah, this is what we're working with. So, all right. Well, stay tuned, friends, and hopefully sauna build video will come either before or after I post this. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Thanks for tuning in.